difference between legitimate and illegitimate child. Identifying the difference between the terms legitimate and illegitimate child is not difficult. Indeed, many of us are somewhat familiar with the meaning of both terms. Essentially, they refer to a lawful child or unlawful child. However, given the harshness of the term unlawful or illegitimate, particularly with a reference to a child, it is best to understand the original meaning of these terms. Keep in mind that owing to the injustice and discrimination that resulted from a concept of illegitimacy, the term illegitimate child is rarely used. Instead, terms such as natural child or extra-marital child or non-marital child are used. Now, who is legitimate child? Traditionally, the term legitimate child is defined as child conceived or born during a marriage, or to a person who are legally married to each other and has complete filial rights and obligation by birth. This means that the child was lawfully begotten. The reason behind the expression lawfully begotten was because marriage was considered a sacred and lawful union. A child not born during a marriage was considered unlawful, as we will examine in this video. In ancient legal system, a legitimate child was automatically granted a status of legitimacy. This status of legitimacy entitled the child to certain rights and privileges. Thus, if a child's parent dies intestate, the child has legal right to inherit the property of his or her parents. Other rights include the right to use the surname of father or mother, receive monetary and or the other forms of support, and rights in relation to inheritance or succession. Now, who is illegitimate child? In simple terms, an illegitimate child is a child that was born out of wedlock or outside of a marriage. Traditionally, the term is defined as a child whose parents were not married to each other at the time of his or her conception of marriage or birth. An illegitimate child was automatically accorded the status of illegitimacy. This means that in the eyes of the law and society, the child was illegal or unlawful. Centuries ago, legal system would consider children born out of marriage or in a bigamous relationship or in a marriage that was later annulled or as illegitimate. Early Roman and English law denied and or restricted the rights of children who were born out of wedlock. They were branded as children belonging to no one due to their status of illegitimacy. This status of illegitimacy was attached with certain consequences, particularly in a legal context. Hence, the reason behind the usage of the term illegitimate child. A child's illegitimate status denied him or her the rights available to a legitimate child. Thus, an illegitimate child could not inherit his or her father's property, could not use his surname, and was not entitled to paternal support. Further, as per early laws and traditions, the father of the illegitimate child was not under obligation to provide support. Today, however, the situation has changed drastically and is more favorable to children born out of wedlock. Many jurisdictions have recognized the rights of an illegitimate child, while some nations recognize that the illegitimate child has the same rights as a legitimate child. Traditionally, the rights of the illegitimate child include the right to bear the surname of mother, right to inherit property and receive support from the father. In the United States, some states recognize a legitimate child and illegitimate child as both having equal rights. However, other US states maintain that an illegitimate child can only inherit property if the father had specifically stated in his will. Some states require that the child present evidence of paternity or claim support and or other rights. Generally, however, most legal jurisdictions abide by the principle that the relationship between a parent and a child should extend equally to each child irrespective of parents' marital status. Other rights granted to an illegitimate child include the right to receive income from social security, government or pension schemes, or even from a life insurance policy in the event of parent's death. Further, it is important to note that many laws have also recognized children born during a marriage that is void or voidable, or children born in a marriage that is later annulled or legitimate. In fact, today many countries have accepted and recognized the concept called legitimation. This is a process by which an illegitimate child is legitimized owing to the subsequent marriage of the child's parents, or when the parents are treated as legally married in certain circumstances. In such a case, the child has been conferred with the same legal status as that of legitimate child. Now, what is the definition? What is the difference between legitimate and illegitimate child? What is the definition? A legitimate child is a child born during a marriage or to parents who are legally married, and an illegitimate child is a child born of wedlock or to parents who are not married. Now, whereas inheritance is concerned, a legitimate child is entitled to inherit his or her parents' property and receive support, whereas traditionally, an illegitimate child was recognized as not having any legal status and therefore not recognized before the law. Thus, an illegitimate child had no legal rights. This situation has changed. Now, an illegitimate child enjoys the same rights conferred upon a legitimate child. Thank you.